Hey guys, I'm Omar Sevilla, and today we're going to be checking tire pressures. I have three different tools here that can be used for checking tire pressures. Four different tools. I have a basic tire chuck. This is for inflating the air pressure in a tire. Could be used on car tires as well as bicycle tires. I have a tire pressure gauge, something you can keep in your glove compartment or in your little tool bag. And then I have some more shop type tools. This is a dial type pressure gauge as well as inflator. And then we also have a digital style tire inflator with the digital pressure gauge and inflation tool. So these are the tools we'll be using to inflate and check tire pressures today. Okay, so before we start adding tire pressures, the first thing we need to know is some information about the tires. The most important information we need to know is the tire pressure that the manufacturer specifies for the vehicle. To find this information, you're most likely going to find it on the driver's door, in the door jamb, on the sticker called the tire information label. On this label, you'll see there's going to be a cold PSI for the front axle as well as the rear axle. For on this vehicle, it's 34 PSI or 235 kilopascals for the front and 235 kilopascals or 34 PSI for the rear. So we're going to set our tires to 34 PSI using the tire pressure gauges that we just looked at. So the first tool I'm going to demonstrate is the tire pressure gauge. This tire pressure gauge has a plunger. So when we attach this tire pressure gauge to the valve stem, this plunger is going to come out and we're going to read which graduation it stops at. That's going to tell us what the current tire pressure is in the car. So first I'm going to remove my valve stem cap. I like to set it on top of the tire tread here. Try to remember it because they're easy to lose. And then I'm going to firmly push the tip of the pressure gauge onto the valve stem until I hear the air stop leaking. And then I'm going to release it quickly. And I'm going to take a close look at my tire pressure. This tire is currently at 25 PSI. This is the dial type tire pressure gauge. So this gauge here uses a dial with a pin. I've already got my valve stem cap off. I can do cars with dual rear wheels or trucks with dual rear wheels that have a valve stem pointing inwards as well as pointing outwards. So this gauge here, same idea. We're going to push it onto the valve stem nice and firmly, and you'll see on the dial there, you see got about 24, 25 PSI. So now that we know our tire is low, we're about 10 PSI below the specified rating, I'm going to get my air chuck. It's got a quick connect fitting so I can connect it to my shop air. And then I'm simply going to push this firmly onto the valve stem, and we're going to inflate it for about 5 to 10 seconds. We're going to remove this and check the pressure again. Now I'm going to get my tire pressure gauge and check the pressure. That puts us at 31 PSI, so I need to apply a little more pressure. Installing air, I'm going to demonstrate adding air using the other style pressure gauge. I'm just pausing. So now that I have attached my tire pressure gauge to the shop air, I'm going to simply push this chuck onto the valve stem. That shows me my tire pressure. I squeeze the valve and I can apply pressure that way. That says 40. I'm going to take this off and put it back on just to verify. This gauge says 40. My other gauge said 31. I'm going to double check with this gauge here. This gauge says about 34. Either way, I'm going to be either at 40 or 34. I'm going to have to find out which gauge is not calibrated right, but that's essentially how you check tire pressure. Most modern cars have a tire pressure monitoring system with a warning light that will warn the driver when the tire pressure or tire pressures get low. Some cars will require the tire pressure is checked at least once every 3 months because they have what they call indirect systems, which use wheel speed sensors to determine the pressure of the tire. So that is an adaptive system. So if the tires all go low equally, it will not indicate a low pressure. So the best recommendation is you check your tire pressure every time you get the oil changed. The tire pressures will change with the seasons. As it gets warmer, the pressures will go up. As it gets cooler, the pressures will go down. So it is very important to always check your tire pressures at least once a season or at every oil change. And just stay on top of it. Good tire pressure is going to increase your miles per gallon as far as fuel efficiency goes, as well as keep the handling of the car in check. And the most important thing is it's going to extend the life of your tires by keeping those tire pressures up and running at the manufacturer's recommended specification. So I'm Omar Sevilla. Thanks for checking in, and see you guys next time.